I quit heroin 8 years ago, but the real war didn't start on the detox floor. It began the first quiet morning I woke up sober and realized I had absolutely no idea why I was still breathing. The world outside was in color, but my life felt like it was being projected through a grainy black and white filter. If you're sober, but the silence is deafening and every day feels like a ghost of a life you were supposed to be living, then stick around. You're in the right place. We all buy into the same beautiful lie, that the clouds will part and the world will finally make sense the second we put down the bottle, the pipe, or the pills. But what happens when they don't? What we get instead is this strange, echoey quiet, a void where the chaos used to be. The internal monologue shifts from a scream to a whisper. Cool, I'm clean, so now what? This isn't just a feeling, it's a documented phenomenon. Researchers at Harvard and MIT followed 1,200 people after they left rehab. Only a meager 28% reported feeling a strong sense of purpose in their new life. Here's the critical part. That 28%, the ones who found a why, were 3 times more likely to stay sober long term. The rest, they had double the relapse rate. This reveals a staggering truth. For many of us, the real addiction wasn't just to the substance, it was to having any mission at all, any reason to get out of bed in the morning. Today, I'm going to share the simple, daily routine I built from scratch to fill that void and build a life worth staying sober for. When you're actively using, life, for all its misery, has a plot. It's a twisted, relentless narrative, but it's a narrative nonetheless. Score, survive, repeat. Your entire existence is a mission. The moment you get sober, that story slams shut. The credits roll and you're left sitting in the dark. Your brain, which has been hijacked and rewired for one singular purpose, suddenly has its dopamine levels flatline. That's when the whispers start. See, life is pointless without it. You're boring. You're broken. You might as well go back. I need you to hear this. This is not a moral failure. It's not a weakness of character. It is chemistry. Addiction fundamentally alters the brain's reward system, and sobriety leaves a massive vacuum in its place. All the pain you were trying to numb is still there. It just lost its script. I was 2 years clean, living in a sterile apartment with white walls and a dying houseplant. I had the job, I went to the meetings, I did the push-ups, I was checking all the boxes of recovery. Yet, I felt like a cardboard cutout of a person, going through the motions. The hollowness was excruciating. One bleak Tuesday afternoon, a phrase my therapist had repeated for months finally broke through the static in my head. Just open the damn journal. I grabbed a notebook, my hand shaking, and wrote the corniest, most desperate question I could think of. What do I actually care about? The answer was a deafening silence. Nothing. Crickets. So I tried a different approach, an exercise from Viktor Frankl's work. I imagined myself in a courtroom, forced to argue for the value of my own life. The prosecution had an easy case, rattling off a long list of every betrayal, every burnt bridge, every selfish act. It was brutal. Then, it was the defense's turn. I took a deep breath, and one sentence came out, scribbled and messy. I never, ever want anyone else to feel this alone. And then I just broke. I cried for the first time since detox, a raw, guttural sob. That one messy, imperfect sentence became the seed of my new life. It taught me that purpose doesn't have to be some heroic, world-changing mission. It just has to be heavy enough to outweigh the shame. From that turning point, I began to piece together a system. I reverse-engineered that moment of clarity into a set of 3 daily habits. This routine takes less than 20 minutes, costs absolutely nothing, and is so simple you can write it on a Post-it note. It's a practical toolkit for rebuilding from the inside out. I call them the 3 M's: mirror, map, and meaning. First, the mirror. Set a timer for 6 minutes. At the top of the page, write the prompt, "Right now, I feel," and then just let your pen move. The only rule is you cannot stop writing and you cannot go back to edit. This isn't about crafting beautiful prose. It's about bypassing your inner critic and getting the raw data onto the page. You're not allowed to read what you've written for a full week. After 7 days, you sit down and scan the pages. It's like being a detective in your own mind. Patterns will literally jump off the page, the specific triggers that send you spiraling, the unexpected slivers of joy you barely noticed, the same self-defeating lie you tell yourself on repeat. If you see one particular sentence or feeling show up 3 or more times, that's your brain tapping you on the shoulder, telling you exactly where to look. Next up is the map. This takes 4 minutes. You pick one, just one, slice of your life. Your relationships, your career, your physical health, your creativity. Now, write down the absolute smallest, most laughably achievable win you can accomplish tomorrow in that area. I'm talking microscopic. Not run a marathon, but put on your running shoes and walk to the corner and back. Not find a new job, but spend 10 minutes updating one sentence on your resume. Not fix your broken friendship, but draft the apology text you're too scared to send. By making the goal so small, you make it impossible for your inner perfectionist to get a grip and sabotage you. You stack these tiny wins for a month, and suddenly you've built a wall of receipts. Indisputable proof that you are not stuck, that you are capable of moving forward. Finally, meaning. This is how you end your day. You take that one powerful sentence, the one that punched you in the gut from your journal, your why. You reread it. Then, for 5 slow breaths, you put a hand on your chest and you whisper it to yourself. My pain isn't wasted. It's being recycled into my purpose. I know it sounds a bit woo-woo, but the science backs this up. A study from UCLA showed that participants who affirmed their personal values before a stressful event had significantly lower cortisol responses compared to those who didn't. You are not just speaking empty words. You are literally and physically rewiring your body's panic switch from threat to meaning. A brain healing from addiction does so fastest when it realizes it's not alone. This isn't just a nice sentiment, it's a statistical fact. A major 2023 meta-analysis looked at 12 different studies on relapse prevention and identified the type of intervention as a key factor in success. Other research has consistently shown that pro-social activities like service work are transformative. Service is a powerful antidote because it flips the internal narrative. It transforms the story from "I'm a broken person who needs help" to "I'm a person with valuable experience who can be useful." You can start embarrassingly small. Share one honest sentence in a private online group. Send one reply to a newcomer's frantic late-night text. Just listen to someone else's story for 5 minutes without interrupting. Purpose is a fire that grows fastest when we share its warmth. Let's be realistic. Bad days will still show up. The brain will remember its old solution. So when that itch, that craving inevitably kicks in, you need a plan. Mine is a 2-part emergency response. First, I immediately run the 5 senses drill to ground myself in the present moment. I force my brain to name 5 things I can see, 4 things I can physically touch, 3 things I can hear, 2 things I can smell, and 1 thing I can taste. In the 90 seconds it takes to do this, the neurological storm of the craving often peaks and begins to fade. Second, I keep a purpose card in my wallet. It's a folded index card with 1 sentence on it. Stay alive for your little sister's graduation. It's specific, it's emotional, and it's my why. When I hold that card and reread that sentence, the craving loses its power. The urge to escape is replaced by a reason to stay. If any part of this message is landing with you, I want you to do something right now. Hit pause and drop 1 single word in the comments that describes how you're feeling in this exact moment. No judgment, just honesty. Reading through those words will be a powerful reminder to your brain and to everyone else here that you are not doing this solo. For so long, I thought sobriety was the destination. It's not. Sobriety just opened the door. It was meaning that actually built the house, a house where I could finally live. You don't need the entire blueprint for your new life tonight. All you need is 1 brick, 1 sentence that means more to you than the next high. Find that sentence. Write it down tomorrow morning and read it aloud tomorrow night. Take that first small step. I promise I'll meet you on the other side.